Welcome to Darkest Dungeon 2. My name is Nilaus, and this is a guide to the Act 3 boss, the Focus Fault. This is by far the hardest boss in the game, and it's extremely gimmicky, so I'm going to give you the lowdown on how all the classes, the tips, the tricks, and the items needed in order to make this manageable. So, let's have a look and dive in. Let's talk about the team. So we are going to use the default team because it is actually really well rounded. And up front we have the Man-at-Arms with the Vanguard specialization. The Man-at-Arms is the best champ for this because he has access to super block and normal block that can stack. On top of that, he has access to both bolster with stress heal and also defender, which is useful for phase 1. Then we have this Highwayman Sharpshot for lots of stress release with lots and lots of crits. That is the best spec in my opinion. Grave Robber with the Deadeye, also more crits. I am really favoring crits. And Plague Doctor with the Alchemist specialization for back row damage and lots of plague as well. Now, in terms of items, there is one item that is just infinitely better than any other item. So when I do Act 3, I'm going to stack up on this restorative herbs. They will give 20 extra healing, and the boss has a negative healing buff. So if you can get some of those, yes, I went a little bit overboard, but plus 280 healing received, yes please. Every attack from the boss will reduce healing by 25%, so with plus 280 it gives you a pretty nice buffer for extended healing in this fight, which is otherwise something that it negates.
The Nightmare Gate is revealed. Beyond, only infernal nihility and non-existence.
So this is a 2-round fight or 2-phase fight. The first phase is extremely technical and has to be managed. So there are 4 eye stalks. They will each grow up to level 3. 1 eye, 2 eye, 3 eyes. When they all have 3 eyes, then phase 2 begins. They will all cast a buff that is opposed. So you can see the first eye will cast on the Man-at-Arms, then so on and so forth. They ignore taunt, so you can see here number 2 eye will hit our number 2, and it'll continue to do that. And they will, when they hit, they will also grow, and that will be a little bit dangerous. Actually, the first one they just observe. So the trick here is to get all of those tokens is focused on your tank, and only at that point are you allowed to go into second phase. No exceptions. You want all tokens on your boss or on your tank, because that's the only way to really make do with it, because that will be all the damage will be focused on there. So from here we need to sort of take anyone who is targeting our rank 2, 3 and 4, take those out. And it's a little bit of a puzzle to solve, because you both want to get them killed pretty quickly, but you also, when you kill them, they respawn the next turn and then they observe. So you really want to make sure that when you get it, you can control where they come. So for example, the one that is dead now, I will just defender on the back row, so that when it comes back and respawns, it will attack the back row, and using defender, it'll then be redirected. The observe ability will be redirected to the boss. Not the boss, the tank, of course, to the Man-at-Arms. That's really important. So here we're going to cast a Noxious Blast to deal some damage. They only have 6 hit points, and if we kill them, then they will respawn, and then they reset their setup. So what also happens is that when a character has more than one of the gaze token, they will start taking additional stress. So this is going to be one of the other big issues. So if you found some oasis, then save the mineral spring water for this fight, because it gives a little bit of healing, but mainly it gives a really nice ability to remove some of the stress, because no matter how good your tank is, if he has a meltdown, then you're stuck at 10%. Now we killed number 2, which will reset that one, and we're killing number 3. Well, actually, every time you kill it, if it's higher level, then it just goes down 1 level. The fact that they do crits is a little bit unfortunate, because that hurts like hell. So here we have observe on the 4th row, which thanks to the defender goes onto the 2nd row. And now we start taking stress, because we now have 2 of those. See, more stress. That means there's kind of a timer on this fight. We are going to be using the Man-at-Arms to try to mitigate the stress, because it's going to be a really big issue. And then just keep taking whatever you have, laudanum and mineral spring water, to remove the stress as much as possible. We have now number 1 and number 4 are targeting the correct places. So if I now move my Man-at-Arms, my Highwayman, into position number 2, then when the second one is attacking, then it will hit the highwayman instead of the man-at-arms. So I have to stay put here. This one still has the taunt part, so we need to clear this third eye, because the third eye has an incorrect target. The second eye is now targeting the second row, which is perfectly fine. So unfortunately, I'm going to do this and hope that it causes a dodge on the last one. Unfortunately not. So that means we're actually killing this the second one, which is a mistake. Definitely a mistake here. But that's the tricky part. This is such a puzzle to figure out how to do this the right way, so that you can get all the tokens right on the tank. Now we kill number 3, and that resets the token on the grave robber. Now we only have tokens. We have 3 tokens now, and they're all on the tank. So we need to be really careful. And there. So unfortunately that dies. Now we have tokens coming in. We have rank 3 and 4 coming in. So I need to have my tank in position 3, and my man-at-arms, my plague doctor staying in rank 4 to absorb the what's it called, with the defender. So now here's the part. Can you do anything? No. If you shuffle them around, then I could do that. That would be fine, but it would be a little bit as usual. Here you can see we removed the defender buff, which is a little bit of a problem, because that means you can be really unlucky and get a target. Yeah, so we are here. This one targets the right place. That is very fortunate. You go up in size, and this one will attack. Luckily it observes and it dodges, so it doesn't get stuck, the observe token. Otherwise I'd have to kill it and start again. So at this point I don't want to kill any of the 3 first ones. I just have to accept that they're dealing damage to my tank, because they will keep attacking the same one, and that'll just be a little bit of a problem. So now what we want to do is we want to try to get them shuffled into the right position for the second phase, because we're kind of getting a little bit of sense of how they're going to be working. So here we're now taking a lot of damage. Luckily no crits. We are up to 6 stress now. It's really unfortunate. So either I stress heal, but if I stress heal, there's a really fair chance that the 4th eye will go first, and then it'll be ruining everything. So I have to, even though I have high on stress, go first here. Now it just turns out that we had a lot of other options instead. So if I pause, then if I pass, then I take 2 stress, which is dangerous, but I do have 3 characters in front of the first eye, so I can shuffle around as long as by the time the eyes react, I have my plague doctor in 4th position, and then we should be good. Again here, just use whatever laudanum you have, and then this is now time to start shuffling back into the right sequence. If I shuffle into the 3rd position, then I can use the grave robber's next attack to shuffle back into 3rd position. And I'm kind of wondering if I should put this as preparation for the next phase, but I think it's not worth it. I think it's better to do it in the next phase, because that's when really the trouble comes in, and we need to absolutely make sure that we only have the tokens on the first one. So here again, Glover or Glare, it's fine. They're still staying put. And then the last one, and because it is the last one, it goes in, and then it grows 2 levels up to level 3. They're all now level 3, and that is the trigger for activating phase 2 of the fight. Now phase 2 of the fight is just 250 hit points, and it'll do this Limerence, which will attack anyone with the tokens. So if you haven't gotten that on everyone, then that's really bad. Here's a Footman Grog. This is insanely good, because it will do Limerence, which deals up to 60 crit, and then it'll also put a vulnerable token. So what I really need to do is make sure that I have both my super dodge, the super block token, and normal block token, because that mitigates some of the vulnerability token, because getting hit by 60 crit becomes with on top of that is vulnerable. That's not great. Now for the rest of the team, it'll just be a damage race all the way through, and we'll just try to go here. The Noisemaker adds 2 normal tokens, which is exactly what we need. So now I have more normal tokens and a super token, which should help, because I will get 2 attacks that will actually, the attack will take 1 token, 1 block token, and it also adds a vulnerable token. So here I now have 2 tokens left, or 2 block tokens left. That's okay. It's not quite, it's not just barely enough, to be perfectly honest. There we go. And the rest of the team is all critted up. You can see crit tokens left, right, and center. We have good gear. Limerence against it reduced to half damage. 32 becomes 16, And we're now actually starting to take a little bit of damage here. We're going to be buffing the Warhorn. And then now we want to get a buff up. I'm going to be using Defender because we can use the Noisemaker for 2 normal tokens. The Defender will give us 2 tokens against the next attack, 2 super block tokens. Now at this point, it is well worth it to do a healing. We can heal early here. That will give us a big heal because, well, we have all the buff. But even in this case, even if you didn't have that, since we've only been hit a couple of times, the healing is not that bad. Suppress is the other ability it has. It sometimes does, sometimes it doesn't. It'll then target all the ones, all the rest of the team that is not having the Observe token. In the meantime, we're just managing stress as much as we can and just walking it down with a massive amount of attacks here, or a massive amount of dots. And again, the Noisemaker adding more tokens just to make sure that we avoid any vulnerable tokens, because those will actually hurt us. It is when you get hit with Limerence with a vulnerability token and it crits, then that's 72 damage. Not nice. And we have lots of tokens, so that's actually really nice. But we have 3 tokens. I'm going to use Standfast unupgraded because that gives normal tokens, and Defender and Bolster gives super tokens. So you really want to have both of them because they can only stack to 3. But now I have actually 5 block tokens at the same time, and that having 5 block tokens makes me a little bit, well, not a little bit, a lot safer against Limerence attacks coming in. Look at that, we just crit on everything we do. It's just absolutely disgusting how much damage we do with these. So this is a good team, but that's the essence of it. We could have endured much longer. But those are some of the tricks. The restorative herbs, collect them. The Noisemaker is really good. Footman's Grog is also really good. Getting Defender, getting super blocks and normal blocks at the same time is really the key to success for this one. So I hope this helped. If it did, be sure to hit the like button and consider subscribing for the channel for more guides on Darkest Dungeon and other good stuff. Until next time, take care and stay effective.